So continuing with the Sefer Yetzirah's letters, the double letters. So double letters have a dagesh, have a dot, and don't have a dot. When you have a dot, that means that there is a strong accent on the letter, which would indicate presence of that particular quality. When there is no dot, it vibrates. It is softer and would be less pronounced. And sometimes would also mean the opposite of the trait is true. For example, if you love, if you are a bet and your primary letter, your primary emotion is that of love, B is for Boris, so then you could love, or because you love, you could also hate. The opposite emotion is possible within the range of the double letters. You could be either loving or hating, judgmental or totally without any order at all. That would be, for a person, that would be a gimel, a gimel. Central column people, generally speaking, do things without emotion. The question is only to what degree do they express their will, and do they have an awareness of why they are doing what they are doing. Central column letters include the Daled or the Daled, D for David, Rar, Reish for Rochel, and Tav for Tudis. The Tav is really a Thav. Tav, Thav. These are the central column letters. They have a dagesh, a dot, or not a dot. Those that are undotted, when the letter is undotted, the letter vibrates. And that's the secret of the double letter Reish. A Reish could be R or Rar. That is R for Rochel. R is for Rochel or Rochel, a Rasha. And the difference between a Daled, a David, and a Rachel, both display no emotion in order to get things done. The Daled is the carrier of the will to the heart. The R is the carrier of the heart toward the completing elements of the person. The R is closer to getting things done, but the R lacks the awareness of the will and the intellect. And therefore the R could be purely an emotional force, but if it lacks awareness, could be mindless and could also be misdirected. And that's the reason why Daled, the word Daled means to be poor. Besides the word for Delet or Delta, meaning the opening of a tent, Daled also means poverty. But the Reish is total impoverishment, because the Reish shows no real emotion. The Reish is directed, has only one awareness in mind, and that is survival. Survival and carrying out that which is necessary to do. R's are survivors. R's are people of action. R's are our matriarchs, Rachel and Rivka, Rebecca. And there are two types of R's: those that are independent and powerful, with the dagesh, with the stress, and those that are passive, who get along because you have to get along, without any emotion, because they have to. Otherwise, they would be overwhelmed. And so, for the R's out there, you can be very strong and powerful in getting things accomplished, or you can be very, very passive, even more passive than the Dalet and the David, because the R's are mostly interested in the survival, in the continuity, in the ability to see, to find the proper conclusion, make sure that things are supposed to be the way they are, the way they're supposed to be. Rebecca made sure that Jacob was the one who got the blessings. She loved her children and showed no emotion for her oldest Esav, that Esav would not get any blessings, because she knew that it was Jacob who was destined to have the banner of Abraham and carry it forever, and therefore there could be no feeling for Esav, even though he was her oldest, even though he spent more time in the house than did Jacob. Jacob was a student, a scholar. The same with Rachel, Rochel. Rochel loved Jacob more than anything else in the world, but because she knew that she could not have her sister embarrassed forever, gave up everything she had hoped for the sake of the honor of her sister. And she did so unemotionally, without fanfare. And to this day, we pray at the gravesite of her mother Rachel in Bethlehem. And so R is for Rachel. Rachel, powerful, making sure that things are the way they're supposed to be. But there are Rachels who don't know why and don't have a clue, and also are submissive. The Rachels, the Rivkas of our Bible were independent and proud because they had the Resh with the Dagesh, not the vibrating Resh, the soft Resh of submission. Tav is the final letter of the double letters. It represents the expression from the Yesod, from the charismatic power to the articulated power. T's are able to articulate that which is found within them, that which is given to them. They are people who would be very, very convincing, who would get things accomplished by their rhetoric. They would be very good salesmen, very good political orators. T's have to also have awareness of who they are and why they are, but they have even less awareness than do the R's. The R's have a lot of charisma because they are associated with the heart to the charismatic function of the genitalia. The Tavs don't come from the heart. They are totally impure expressions. They are tremendous actors and actresses, and they carry the message most effectively. And so the R's may or may not be great orators, but they are very, very emotional and powerful in their emotion and powerful in getting their way, and they make sure to get their way. And the Tavs, they're the ones that know how to articulate it. And that's why the final letter of the Shabbat is the Tav. Because in Shabbos, we have to not only rest, Shev, but we also have to have the Tav of expression to express the glory of Shabbos. That's why we say Kiddush and we say Havdalah. And so for you R's out there, you get things done, but you have to know that you're on the right path. That's why one really should hook up to a David, who really knows what he's supposed to do. If you don't have a David stands for the King of Israel, those who know the halacha, the law. But the R's are even better at motivating, at convincing, at getting things accomplished than are the D's. And the T's, they're the communicators.